Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about the Java 8 optional class. So what is Java 8 optional class, why it is introduced, and how we can create optional in Java 8. That is all we are going to discuss in this video. So let's get started for that, and let me try to go to the next slide and discuss about the Java 8 optional class first. And then the purpose of it, and then we'll see why we are using it and how we can use it. Everything we are going to see, and we are also going to see what all the methods this optional class have and how we can use it out. So let's get started for that, and let me try to go to the next slide and discuss about the optional class first. So what is optional class? In Java 8, the optional class was introduced to handle the situation where a value might be absent. So let's say you forgot to provide some value to some variable, and when you are not providing anything, automatically that value becomes null. So in Java 8, the optional class was introduced to handle the situation where a value might be absent or where the value is null. So this is the main purpose of optional class. It handles the situation where a value might be null or absent, helping to eliminate null pointer exception and explicitly representing the presence or the absence of a value. So it helps us to eliminate the null pointer exception that will get if we are not using the optional. Okay, so it will help us avoiding the null pointer exception when we use the optional class. Okay, and explicitly representing the presence or the absence of a value. It also explicitly represent if the value is present, and if it is not present, it also by default gives some values. Or if you want to throw some custom exception, it will allow you to do that. So this is what the optional class is. Its main purpose is to handle the null pointer exception. Now let me try to go to the next slide and discuss about the purpose of optional. The primary purpose of optional is to make it clear when a value might be absent and force the developer to handle this scenario explicitly, rather than allowing null values to propagate through the codes and potentially cause unexpected null pointer exception. Okay, so this is the purpose. The main purpose of the optional class is to handle the null pointer exception or force the developer to handle the null pointer exception scenarios by using the optional class. Now let me try to go to next slide and discuss about why we are using optional. Okay, why use optional? So I have listed down 3 points here. The first one is clarity. It makes code more readable and self-explanatory by explicitly indicating that a value might not be present. Okay, so let's say some value is going to be absent, then with the help of optional, we'll wrap out those values. With the help of optional, it will automatically tell the developer that this value might be absent. Okay, so it is self-explanatory by explicitly indicating that a value might not be present. So this improves the code quality, and it clears the developers that what is the situation, what is the scenario here. Okay, so the first point is clarity. It makes code more readable and self-explanatory by explicitly indicating that a value might not be present. Now the second point is avoiding null pointer exception. By using optional, you are encouraged to handle scenarios where a value may or may not be exist. Okay. Now the third point is enforcing best practices. It promotes a better design by forcing developers to think about and handle the absence of a value. So these are the main purpose why you should use optional: clarity, avoiding null pointer exception, and enforcing some best practices. Now let me try to go to next slide and discuss about how we can use the optional. Okay, how to use the optional. So first of all, we are going to see how we can create the optional, I would say, objects or optional values. So you can see that I have listed down 3 codes, or you can say 3 statements that you can use to create the optional. So let's say if you want to create some optional value of a string, so you can call the optional class and define the generic here, which is a string here. And let's say we are giving the variable name as optional value with value, and we are creating the optional with some value. So you can use this optional.off method and provide some value that you want to store here. Okay. Now the second one is explaining how you can create a optional with a null value, and the third one is explaining you how you can create an optional with the empty value. So this is how you can create the optional. Now let me try to go to the next slide and discuss about how we can retrieve the values from an optional variable. Like get methods retrieve the value if it presents. However, avoid using get without checking for presence to avoid no such element exception. So make sure that when the optional variable contains a value, then only go and use the get. Otherwise, if it is not containing any value, it is empty or null, then it will throw you no such element exception. Okay. Now here you can see that we have created one optional variable with some value, and you can see that if you want to apply this get method on this variable, you will find some values there, and if the value is not present there, you will get this no such element exception. Now in that case, if you want to by default store some values, then you can use this or else method and store some values that you want to store there in the result. Okay. Or there is also another method which is or else get, where you can use supplier functional interface and provide some value that you want to put in. Okay, so these are the two or else get method that you can use to provide the default value to this variable. Okay, so this is about the get and or else get method. Now let me try to go to next slide, and here you can see that how we can use or else get method. You can see or else get method expect the supplier, and here you can see with the help of supplier, like with the help of lambda expression, we are calling the I think supply method of the supplier and providing some value here. Okay, now coming to the next method that optional class has is or else throw, which is used to throw an exception. Okay, throw an exception if the value is not present. Like let's say we have created one optional variable, and that variable is empty or null. Then in that case, if you want to throw some custom exception, you can use this or else throw method and try to override this no such element exception and provide your value. So here we are providing the value as value not present. Okay. Similarly, if you want to check for the presence, you can use this is present method, which is returning a boolean. It checks if the value is present or not. Now if you'll see there, let's say you have created one optional value or optional variable, you can say, and you want to check if the value is present there or not, then you can use this is present method. And if the value is present, it will provide you one true, and if it is not present, it will give you the false. And if you want to use this true and false condition and put some let's say if else conditions there, then you can use it out. Okay, so you can see that we are going to use this optional value, and we are seeing that if it is present, then try to print out the value is present and print out the value as well. So it is also taking some consumer here, and you can use it out. Okay, so this is about the methods that are present inside the optional class. Now if you'll go to the next slide, you will find this summary here. So let me try to read out the summary for you. Optional encourages explicit handling of the absence of values, making core more robust and less error prone when dealing with the potential missing values. So the main purpose of the optional class is to handle the null pointer exception. How better you can handle the null pointer exception, that is the use case of optional class. So this is about the video. Now let me try to come out of it and go to the IntelliJ, try creating one Java application, and then show you the use case of the optional, how you can use it out, and all the things that we have discussed, we'll practically try to implement it out as well. So let me try to come out of it.